I trust God for everything. And I believe that if God allowed me to get to Detroit safely and see my mom is how she is, that she would be healed from this thing. No matter what else happened, I didn't have to say anything to anybody because nobody contacted me. Why? I don't know, but I'm fine. My main focus was on my mom and my mom only. That was my priority, mine. So the next day, during visitation, I'm sitting there in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning when visitation began, and I'm praying, and I'm singing, and I'm talking to my mom because I knew that she could hear my voice. She just couldn't respond. So the doctor came into the room, and he began explaining to me and talked a little more. So I got new information. At the same time, I'm waiting on the nurse. She comes into the room and she says, "Oh, there's someone downstairs that's here to see your mom." So I said, "Well, who is it?" She says, "It's the guardian." I said, "Oh, okay." First of all, the guardian didn't even call me and tell me that my mommy was in the hospital. I live in Texas. Why you didn't tell me my mom was in the hospital? Fine. So I told the nurse, okay, I'm not leaving. Then another doctor entered the room and he started talking to me and explaining to me a little bit more in detail about what happened with my mom and what the situation was and what the plan was to move forward with to help her make progress. So while the doctor's talking, I looked at my phone and I see that I have a missed call from a family member. No names. I won't say who, but I continued talking to the doctor. And then the next time the phone rang, I heard it. I looked at the phone. This time it was another family member, but one who loves me. So couldn't take her call either because I was talking to the doctor and listening to what the doctor was explaining to me about the plan of action for my mom's progress. So when the doctor was done talking to me and we finished chatting, he left the room. I thanked him. So now I called my family member who loves me back on the phone. And she proceeds to tell me that the person who called before her was trying to reach me to tell me that the guardian was downstairs and to let her come up. So I looked at the phone and I said, "You mean the guardian who did not call me and tell me that my mommy was in the hospital? She wants me to leave and let her come up here and see my mama? No, 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 no. That's not how that's going to happen." So I finished talking to her. That was the end of that conversation. Nurse comes back into the room and she says, "Oh, the guardian said that she has a meeting with the doctor today." I said, "I don't care about her meeting with the doctor. She can have it in a different room, somewhere else, but not this room with my mama, because I'm not leaving." Then the phone rings again. This time, it's another family member. Now, mind you, none of these family members called me when I was in Texas and my mama had the accident, the fall, and she's in the hospital. Somebody totally unrelated, no family, called me. Well, I called her and she told me my mom was in the hospital. I'm getting upset. So this family member calls me and he starts cussing me out. "You don't get your motherfucking out the..." out the room and let somebody else come up and see my mama. I looked at the phone and I said, oh, so you do know my number. Bye. That's it. I'm not finna stand up here and argue and fuss back and forth with you. You want to cuss me out? You can't call me and tell me my mama's in the hospital, but you can call me to cuss me out because you here and you want to come upstairs and you didn't know that I was here. It's sad. This is all about my mama. This is not about me, how you feel about me personally, or none of that. This is about my mama. So I hung up the phone. I ain't arguing with nobody, nothing like that. So the only way that they found out that I was here was when they showed up at the hospital. But they didn't call me and tell me to come. I just showed up. Okay? Waiting around for that, I mean, my mama could have died and I wouldn't have known nothing about it. And that would have suited the guardian just fine because she had her ulterior motive for with my mom and her business. So I was with my mom every day from sun up to sundown, really. Like visitation began at 8 a.m. and I was there. Visitation ended at 8 p.m. and I was there. Sometimes I stayed longer until they told me, hey, you got to go, bye. But still, I was with my mom. That's the only reason I came here. Okay, I left everything in Texas to come here to be with my mom. I didn't know the condition that she was in until I got here. But once I saw that, I said I wasn't leaving until I got my mommy out of this. That was my plan. So I worked with my mommy. I stayed with her, prayed with her, sang with her. You know, my mommy, she made progress. She, let's see, the one doctor said that they were going to have to do a tracheotomy on her. And so I asked the doctor, I said, well, my mommy used to be a background singer for Aretha Franklin. And I know that my mama did not want a hole in her neck because she still sings. We sing every day together. So I asked the doctor, I said, well, is there any other alternative that we can apply or try to explore to see if we can avoid that? He said, well, yes, she would have to, the only way that she can avoid having this tracheotomy, because she still had the tubes in her throat, she would have to be able to prove what they call show progress in mentation, meaning that if they told her to squeeze their hand, she would have to squeeze their hand. Now, because she had a stroke, she was not using the left side of her body. But I tested her and I saw that she could use the left side of her body, but her brain needed to be retrained again how to use the left side of her body. So the stroke affected the left side of her body, but she still had function of it. So I bought her a ball and told her showed her how to squeeze the ball and told her she needed to squeeze the ball. And I told her she needed to lift that left leg, you know, try to draw it up, just try and focus her energy on the left side, because the right side, that right foot she was dancing that right foot. Like I asked her, was she dancing or was she driving? But the left side wasn't doing anything without some agitation. So she reacted to pain. So if you like pinch her toe or something, then she would move her foot. So that's how I knew that it was still working, but the brain needed to be retrained to direct it to work purposefully. So she had to show that she could do that with her right side and her left side. Now, this was 5 days before the surgery was supposed to be scheduled by this doctor. And so he told me what she needed to do, and she also needed to prove that she could breathe on her own without the help of the machine, the respirator. So, told Mama 5 days before, so Mama, this is what you got to do. You got to squeeze this ball, and you got to try and direct your attention to that left side, because you have to prove to these doctors that you can do all these things, or they're going to put a big hole in your throat, and I know you don't want that. 4 days. Still telling Mama, same thing. And she wasn't really, you know, squeezing the ball and doing, not that she didn't want to, but it just wasn't I wasn't seeing the progress. And I worked with her. I worked with her like my life depended on it. So I didn't want her to have that hole in her neck because I knew how it would affect her psychologically. You know, to look in the mirror every day and see she had a hole in her neck. This is a singer. She's still a singer. So 3 days before the surgery, I'm still telling mama, still working with her, squeezing the ball with her in her hand, with her hand, moving her leg, doing little physical therapy with her because the physical therapy team didn't really have time for her at this particular hospital, but that's another story. Anyway, they had great staff. They did a great job, but you know, it is what it is. So I was there. I'm not gonna just sit there and do nothing. So I did my own little physical therapy and I helped her, and she made progress. 2 days before the surgery, not still not enough to show that she had significant improvement. The last night before the surgery, I said, "Well, Mama, it's all up to you. If you don't show these doctors in the morning what they want to see, they're gonna put a big hole in your neck." Went home, kissed her goodnight. Visitation. Next morning, I come in. I say, "Well, Mama, squeeze my hand." She squeezed my hand so hard. And she lifted her leg. I said, "Mama, lift your left leg." She lifted her left leg. But nobody was in the room with me to see this. So when the nurse came in the room, he came in with his head down, talking about, "Well, I'm sorry, there wasn't much activity last night." I said, "Oh, really? Watch this." I said, "Mama, squeeze his hand." She squeezed his hand so hard, that man ran out the room and got the other nurses to bring them in there to see what my mama showed me. And they said, "We can't do this. We can't do this. We have to stop the plan for the surgery today."